Let's go back in game. Let's save again. Let's, I guess, finish this. 3:30 p.m. Worlds is not at my side. Mia is not at my side. Now then, before we proceed any further, I'm going to announce the results of the tests we had performed earlier. Tests. Yes, tests. On the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree. Oh yeah, that. I totally forget about that. About it. That's the weapon that Maya Fey used when she fought with the victim. What are the results? Was it the victim's blood, or due to time constraints a full test wasn't possible? However, there's one thing we can say with certainty. The blood that was on this dagger was not the victim's blood. Okay? That is all. Now then, let's restart the trial. It wasn't Misty's blood on the dagger. Then whose was it? Dagger updated. I'm sure both the defense and the prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Both sides will need to show some firm evidence with their claims. I understand, Your Honor. From what I've heard, the witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking. So, let's finish this quickly. Agreed. Very well, please bring in the last witness. Or we announce the last witness even? Witness, please tell us your name and your profession. Maya Fey. My profession is, I'm the assistant manager at Wright & Co. Law Offices. Maya. According to the magazine I have here, you're a spirit medium of the Korean channeling technique. I am frightened. Fey clan, I don't want any more to do with it. Pain the Fey bloodline cause must be unbearable. Very well. Now then, Miss Fey. When the event occurred, you were in the garden of the inner temple, and you witnessed the moment of Miss Elise Downham's murder. Is this correct? Ah, yeah. Didn't see. Straighten up this instant, young lady. Huh? Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later. But your mother was killed right in front of your eyes. There's nothing you can do but change. There's nothing you can do to change that fact. But there's something you can do. You can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? You've seen the witnesses come out, and you've seen us squeeze the truth out of them. Now it's your turn. Let's hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen? Witness, if you please. Yes, Your Honor. At the inner temple. I was passing through the garden on the way to the spare prep room when it happened. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. Bonk. I stumbled and ended up against the stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me." Then something warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness. So we were struck on the head. I suppose it must have been the staff. Ah yeah, the person who hit you. Was it Dahlia Hawthorne, was it? I'm sorry, Nick. I couldn't see. I don't know who it was. Ah yeah, think hard. Sorry, Nick, but I really couldn't. Can't say it was an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around alone. It seems that it will be hard to determine the criminal thought testimony alone. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your cross-examination. She doesn't look well at all. Yeah, I can imagine this. At the inner temple. So I can, like, make mistakes here. Let's go. Who else was in the inner temple? Who else was on the inner temple side that night? Well, Sister Bikini, of course, and I remember her saying that Iris would be coming later as well. On the day after the incident, Edgeworth met Bikini at Hazakura Temple. That means she couldn't be the criminal. So then, did Iris actually come later like she said? Well, let me think. She seemed confused, and probably because she's retired. No, I'm sure I didn't see her. She must have come while I was preparing for the training. Who did it? Who hit you? Well, I didn't see who it was. I was hit from behind. You didn't see the person. But after that, your attacker was in front of you. How could you not see who it was? Oh. Let me think for a sec. I'm sorry. I just can't remember. Maya's really having a hard time. Press her. Come on, Maya. This isn't making sense. Why didn't you see this person? Well, let me think. It was... Oh yeah, that's right. It was dark, that's it. It was dark. It's not good to have too much light around when someone is undergoing spiritual training, huh? Come to think of it, there was earlier testimony of that effect as well. It was dark in the garden on the night of the crime, which is why she didn't see her attacker. I thought maybe she was trying to hide something, but I guess not. Judging by the testimony thus far, the identity of the attacker was most likely the spirit that was channeled by Elise Downton, Dahlia Hawthorne. I don't know if she was on the witness stand before that. I can't remember. Very well, please continue with your testimony. What happened after you were struck on the head? What happened afterwards? My attacker was in front of me, blocking of my escape, I think. After getting hit like that, I was like in a state of panic. There was only two things rolling around in my head at the time. Now then, this is beginning to get interesting. So what were the two things rolling around in your mind? My name is Maya Fey. 1 + 1 = 2. You see, for some crazy reason I was afraid I was going to lose my memory. I know it's odd considering my life was in danger, but that's how it was. It's not odd at all. Your actions are understandable, given the circumstances. So, what did you do then? I think I screamed, help me. You think you screamed, but you're not sure? Listen, I was a complete wreck. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man, a woman, an adult, a child? I had no idea. I was scared out of my wits. Believe me, my dear, I would have soiled my robes. I thought this person might attack me, so anyway, I'm pretty sure I screamed. I thought that it was my last hope. Wow, it sounds like poor little Maya really was out of her mind. But I wonder what she meant by last hope. What do I do? Do I press her more? My last hope? Wait a minute, Maya. What's this my last hope stuff? What do you mean by your last hope? No. That's what you said. You said my last hope. What? I said that? Look, you were facing an attacker that you couldn't see and you screamed, right? You screamed, help me. Yeah. But you testified that you screamed that because you thought it was your last hope. Oh, well, you know, that's like... What do you call it when that happens? You're not doing so well over there. Oh, yeah, Oh, that's right. I remember now. I was facing my attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at. What did you just say? Yeah, that's right. It was not the person behind. It was the person behind my attacker that I was yelling at. That's who I was screaming out to for help. Ah, what is it now? I messed up. I didn't mean to let this slip out. Huh? Witness, are you absolutely sure of what you're saying? Behind the attacker there was another person. I mean, to keep that part a secret. What have I done? It takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say. Ton of pressure. You're in a court of law here. You can't make things up to try to hide things in this chamber. Witness, the information you just preserved is vital to the case. I want you to add this to your testimony. You could see a man. A man? Who is it? Who was this man? Well, you see, I couldn't see. Couldn't see. Well, you know, lantern light isn't very bright. Lantern light, did you say? There's a great big stone lantern in the garden. They always light it when the arc light is there for draining. Hey, you know what they say, under the lantern darkness reigns. So I could see the person that was further away, but not my attacker who was close. Plus, there weren't any other light sources in the garden at the time. The stone lantern was off. Yeah. So there was a man standing behind your attacker. Yeah. That man. He's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Elise Downham, otherwise known as Misty Faye, your mother. The killer? Ah yeah, you know who killed your mother, don't you? What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? To be frank, Your Honor, I think she is in shock and quite confused. That's why she hasn't noticed a huge problem with the testimony. Huh? What do you mean? What problem, Maya? On the night of the crime, that stone lantern was out of commission. Huh, what? It's true. There was no light anywhere in the garden that night. Order in the court. Mr. Godou explained this. Akio, more coffee. Add the poorness of milk to the perfect clear darkness of coffee's stir. That is the state of the witness's mind right now. A cup of coffee or light? Cafe au lait? Cafe au lait? Is that even legal? Mr. Tride's words are the milk and you are the spoon, Your Honor. I'm a spoon? I'm no spoony bard. I'll have you know. You must have noticed it too, Tride. This witness's mental state is highly unstable right now. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like that. Sorry, but that's not going to cut it. What did you say? If there truly was no light in the garden, then there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony. Nick, may I? Recall the witness's statement about the attacker. She said that she didn't know if it was a man or a woman, an adult or a child. And yet, the witness could describe a person that was standing behind her attacker, and she quite clearly described him as a man. In other words, that would have to mean that Maya actually saw our mystery person, despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of her own attacker. Order! What in the world does this all mean, Mr. Wright? Are you saying Miss Faye saw the real killer under pitch-black conditions? Objection! Yes, because of you know what and you know why. Try, do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There was no other light source at the scene. There are some things that can only see in the dark, Mr. Godou. Aya, you did see who the killer was in the dark, and now you're trying to cover for him. Cover? For the man that killed her mother? There's only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is. Please, Nick. I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you. Huh. You talk a good game, Tride, but let's see if you can walk the walk. If it was pitch black, so what could the witness seen? I'm calling your bluff. No, Nick, don't. Please stop. Maya's dead set on protecting this guy. Are there multiple endings to this? The man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. But I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court. I'm here to find the truth. Alright, Mr. Wright, time to show us what you've got. Who was this person that you... Yeah. Oop. Because it was pitch black, Miss Fay was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see for itself how this is possible, yes? What? But how do you propose to show us something like that? It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night. Conditions? Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom be turned off. But it can't be. Huh. Bzz. It was a nice bit of deduction. That's right. Well, everyone, this is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder. Why are we going this road? I like Mr. Go-Do. Like, this is... I don't know. Order. Prosecutor Go-Do, what is the meaning of this? Fuck you, more coffee, because I don't get the chance to drink more, I guess. Surely, you must be shocked to hear yourself accused for such a thing. Why aren't you denying it? Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person. What do you mean by that? If you've not got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night was the 3 glowing red lights. Well, witness, answer the question. You're wrong. I never saw that. Maya, I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man. For a totally different reason. What? Witness, Mr. Wright, what the... Stop your chattering, Your Honor. Chattering? More coffee, Okio. If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Alright. Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us who you knew the killer was a man. Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize it until after I woke up, but... The killer. When I came to, I was just laying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit and the body was gone, and all of the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. Since that person did all the work alone, I just assumed it was a man. So it was after the crime took place that the witness came to think the killer was a man. Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor. No need to apologize. It's as Mr. Go-Do said. You're utterly exhausted. It's only natural that you would be a little confused. Although, if you consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the culprit was a man. Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination. How many cross-examinations are there after this? 2 more, okay. Can't believe this. Okay, when I came to, I was lying. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit and the body was gone. And all of the snow around the stone has been carefully... Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man. Do I have anything? I guess I have to press here. Because I don't have information. So you lost consciousness when you were in the garden, is that right? Yes, I think it happened when the victim was stabbed. So... then the person that carried you into the inner temple, it could only have been the killer. That's what I think too. So the killer carried Maya into the inner temple. Okay. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right? Yes, I think so. But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like this? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. I don't know. Looks like she doesn't have enough confidence. I think I need to gather some more information before I ask her again. Okay. Torches were lit. Yes, that's how I noticed that the whole scene had changed. I'm going to say that it wasn't the killer who lit the torches. I mean, who else could it be? The killer probably lit them, since it'd be impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. However, if that's true, there is one thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go on the effort of moving the body? That's true. It's hard to see how that would be of any advantage to the killer. The only one who would gain anything from that would be the only person that was at the inner temple, Maya. Very well. Let me hear some more about the condition of the crime scene, okay? So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow? It really looked odd. The snow was removed in an unnatural-looking rectangular shape around the lantern. There were a lot of shovels around in the inner temple, but they're all really heavy. Way too heavy for me to use. An odd fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow away? Well, there's one thing I can think of. Didn't you say that a lot of the victim's blood sprayed onto the snow? Yeah, the area I collapsed in ended up being splattered. In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I think that's the most reasonable explanation. Perhaps. However, there's something that's bothering me. If the killer just wanted to hide the snow with blood on it, there was no need to remove that amount. That's true. He could have scooped out just the snow that was stained with blood. It looks like there are some mysteries behind this issue, but I think this will help explain them. Because it wasn't Mahendra. So you're saying that you never saw the killer, right? Yes, but earlier you very clearly stated that you saw a man behind your attacker. Nick, I'm sorry. The killer certainly went through a lot of trouble, moving the body by pendulum, manipulating the crime scene, but for what purpose? Why do all that? Maybe Maya knows more than she's letting on. But why would someone tamper with this like this? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. The truth is, when I saw the crime scene, I felt something. You did? Yes. I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence for me, for my sake. What? Hiding it for you? Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. If Sister Bikini had come back and looked at the garden, she may have thought that you had done it. No, she definitely would have thought so. And you were saying that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing had happened. Yes, I'm sure of it. Well, that's certainly an important piece of information. I want you to add this to a testimony, yes. I did it for your sake. Well, if the body and the blood hadn't been removed, I would have immediately been the prime suspect, right? Yeah, I suppose that's true, yeah. Yeah, and if that happened, the body would have caused some other problems too. If a real identity had come out right then, it would have been terrible. Master of Kurain killed by your own daughter. I don't think Maya would have been able to handle it. But still, it's rather difficult to fathom the killer's motives. What reason is there to go through that much trouble to protect you? Okay, this feels like a conversation and not like a contradicting thing. So... I guess I can, like, do this statement now? And, like... maybe show something? Maybe here again? Because we want to establish that Gordeau did this? So, and I could say like, no, he's not doing this for your sake, it's for the family or something like this? No. Don't save this. Don't save this. Okay, I don't know what I'm like contradicting here. By the time I get back to the garden, the place had totally changed. This is true. She was laying on the floor in the training hall. This is maybe true too. So I guess this is the only statement I can press on because sorry, this is the only statement I can like contradict or like talk about because everything else is like, yeah, it's a straight fact, right? So, but what do I like do about this? What do I do about this? What do I do about this? What do I do about this? Maybe I can do this? I don't know, like I could try this and say no, it's not for your sake, it's for someone else's sake. No. Okay. So maybe we can do this with the scroll. But again, why kill her when it's for her sake, right? Maybe. I don't know what I'm going for. I need help here. Like I don't know. Like this feels again like a freaking like a talk and not like a, oh yeah, I can contradict something. What should I contradict here? Like I have nothing to contradict. I can like show people again, but maybe I should like show Mia Fey now, but this makes no sense. You missed to clean something? You missed to clean something. Yeah, there was like the dagger and the freaking thing, huh? I think it was for my sake. And then like doing this? No. Oh, so we want to... Oh, yeah, I see now where it... Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, this is the right statement that we're going for the knife. And he was like, no, it wasn't for your sake, it was for his own sake, I guess. No. My girlfriend is like doing something in the background that's making me super nervous. I can't. Sorry. So, okay, let's get back to it. I think it was for my sake that the killer cleaned up this evidence of what had happened. It was for my sake. Oh. Oh. Oh yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, why clean up and leave the name behind, huh? Yeah. I didn't see that. My girlfriend was like, yeah, she didn't clean up the whole place. There's still something in it. I was, what? Whatever, thank you so much. I'm like, again, my girlfriend did something, like, she, like, shuffled cards or something. Make me super nervous, like, I'm sorry, like, yeah. I don't know why she did this, but just like, it's like this constant, you know, like, shuffling cards. It makes me so freaking nervous, I'm sorry. The body of Elise Downton was carried all the way to Hazakura Temple's courtyard. Then, at the garden, the real scene of the crime, the snow that we suspect was covered in blood, was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe all this was done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there's still one measure that seems somewhat odd. Oh, and what would that be? You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godu. It's the message written in blood on the lantern. It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern, Maya. If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't they wipe the writing of the... Oh yeah, because he can't see that, right? He can't... because of his, like, I don't know, eyesight, he can't see that? Right. Order. But Mr. Wright, isn't it a fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene? Indeed. But it doesn't make much sense to move the body and remove the bloody snow, then not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody right. Oh, this is why he does the real big circle of like, or like rectangle, the big. He scooped up more snow than he needed because he can't see the blood in the snow, huh? And he wants to make sure that there is no. Because, yeah, again, because he can't see, huh? Akio coffee. But if that's the case, do we have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior? Why would this killer move the body and remove all the snow, but then leave the bloody writing on the lantern? I don't know what the killer's plan was, but this is in fact... It's a fact that the killer left the writing on the lantern. There must be a reason for it, because he can't see this. It's right, let's hear your opinion. We talked about this. Why did the killer leave this message? The killer doesn't notice it. The killer doesn't know. Prosecutor Godu, early in this trial you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Maybe you're not so dumb as I thought. The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that a crime had occurred there. If that's the case, they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean that they didn't notice it. But that doesn't make any sense. The torches were all lit and everything. There's no way any normal person would miss something as glaring as that. You're right. There's no way any normal person would. What are you trying to say? There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether. Who would that be? Who is the person that... So, are we doing this again? Like pointing fingers again here? Mr. Godu, this is what you said yesterday. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. Can't see everything. Is that correct, Mr. Godu? This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented. Rerun. Mr. Godu, just admit it. There are certain colors you can't see, correct? You can't see red on a white background, can you? That's right. We went through this once before, during the poisoning case at Tribulations. This is the apron the delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time. and somehow spilled coffee on. Somehow spilled coffee on. Sorry. There's something still bothering me. Yeah. Bloodstain. What? You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup because it was red. Akio coffee. Huh. It's strange. In a black and white photo, those letters would have appeared black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one that can't see them? So then, Mr. Godo, are you admitting it? Are you admitting that you can't see the red writing on the lantern? Hey, Gramps, didn't you know? That's the reason why I don't drink red tea. I don't get it. I wasn't sure about it until now, but I just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godu is the murderer, but there's no going back now. I finally figured out the truth. What? Oh, he's not ready? Yeah. God damn it. Oh, he got me again. Mr. Godu, the defense at this time formally accuses you. You are the murderer of Miss Elise Downham, also known as Miss Misty Faye. It's hard to believe this may be true, however, once again Mr. Wright has brought up a disquieting fact about you. Huh. Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in red ink, Gramps. Come on. Hey, Windle, nice to see you around. How does a little graffiti make me into a killer? Besides, it's not like it's my name that's written there. I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the color red. It's rich. You go on, Wright. The answer's right there at the crime scene. In the snow. The snow? How so? Well, for example, why did the killer move all the snow? Your Honor, you said it yourself. If you wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not take out just that area? Yeah, why didn't he take out just that area? Could it be... Yes, the killer couldn't see the red blood that seeped into the snow. And so he had to remove all of the snow. He removed it. He couldn't be sure of where the blood had landed, so he removed the whole area. He removed the area, he erased the land. Isn't it more likely that the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark? No chance. The torches were all lit. He would have been able to see just fine. It seems that once again this trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say it at least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godu? Ask the witness, huh? Hold it. Wait just a minute. Hiya. What is it, witness? Mr. Godu isn't the killer. After all, he didn't even come to the inner temple until 2 days after the murder took place. He didn't show up until after that old bridge got fixed up. Hiya. Can't testify on something like that. Why? Oh. Your internet performed well today? Oh, yeah, this is good to know. Oh wow, you got buffers every couple of seconds. Wow, because my because of like Crow's advice, I halved my bitrate, and it should be better now. So yeah, this must be. Huh. Yeah, so I hope it gets better. After the murder happened, you didn't even exist. You didn't? I'm afraid I don't know. Are you a senile old man? We established this just a while ago. After the murder, the witness was unconscious for a long time. Because she was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh, that's right. Please, Your Honor, let me add to my testimony. Nick, please listen to me. Aya, you plan to cover for Godoo no matter what the cost? If that's the case, then I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear her testimony. You've changed the channel. Yeah, I guess so too. Again, like, we're going down the story spiral. We're going down the story spiral into the abyss. Like, into the abyss. Like, there is no turning back now. This is like, everything is bad. And everything getting worse. Like, oh, why is she covering now? Why is she covering her? Again, covering him. In the end of the day, yes, he saved her life. And yes, in the end of the day, he killed her mom. So, I don't know, like, it's strange. If it means you're going to hear the whole truth, I say we should not silence her. Huh, nicely done, Wright. Very well, let's hear the witness's testimony. Please tell us what happened at the inner temple after the murder. Yes, sir. After I woke up, I began channeling and my spirit left me, I swear. But little Pearly was there at the inner temple too. After the incident. Pearly was also stuck on the inner temple side that night. The next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's when Mr. Godoo arrived at the inner temple for the first time. He found Pearly first and cheered her right up. Who is this Pearly? That's my little cousin, Pearl Faye. So when did you hear about this? Oh, just a while ago, when I was in the medical office. Terribly sorry. Sorry, but what you hear from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. What? Come on, Pearly would never tell a lie. She's a way more honest person than I'll ever be. Real smart, Maya. You always know the best thing to say when you're under oath. The prosecution has no objection. We believe the witness. Go. Let's just move on to the cross-examination, if the defense has no objections. This is highly unusual. I guess I should dance. Huh? Let's get this cross-examination started. After the incident. Thought like. So where did you think Pearl slept? Oh my god, my throat. Slept that night. In the spare prep room, next to the training hall, I guess. There's a rule that you can't enter the training hall during an acolyte's training. But even so, why did she go to the inner temple in the first place? It seemed that Pearl became very worried about Maya. She knew that the spiritual training I was about to undergo was very intense. Okay, we do this anyway. Yeah. Like, there's no turning back now. Like, even the judge is like, yo, we should not go this road. But the game is like, nope, this train is started. Can't stop the train. Pearls was supposed to channel Dahlia Hawthorne, but she couldn't do it. That's why she headed to the inner temple. However, Dahlia Hawthorne was already there, possessing the body of Elise Downton. The next morning... Okay. She searched the entire inner temple side, end to end. Well, you see, Pearly gets pretty scared when she's alone, and there weren't any that many places to look. She says that she even went back and forth several times. The inner temple side has two structures: the training hall and the spare prep room. And there's also a storage shack, I think. About it. There was a storage shack too. Pearls was looking for other people, right? Would she have really examined the storage shack all that carefully? Well, if it was me, that would be the first place I would investigate. So what? So that means it's possible that someone may have been hiding in the storage shack. Yeah. Pearls didn't hear the sound of them. Didn't hear the sound of them working on the bridge? What do you mean? I was just wondering why she would stay in the prep room. If it was me, I'd at least go out and wait at the foot of the bridge. Oh well, Pearly said she was sleeping at the time. She said she was so scared during the night that she couldn't sleep well and woke up a bunch of times. Poor little girl, all alone like that. Well, we know that she'd had at least one friend in the sacred cavern, Dahlia Hawthorne, who was busy battling with a twig lock. We couldn't let anyone see her, so she wouldn't have shown herself to Pearls. What happened after the bridge was finally fixed? So, it was your first time on the Inner Temple side, Mr. Godio? Huh? That's funny. I am imagining things, or did the defense ask me a question, Mr. Wright? Please save your question for the witness. What you heard from someone else is simply not advisable a testimony. Those are your words, Your Honor. Touché, Mr. Wright. Oh well. What do you have to say? What do you have to say, Mr. Godio? Akio coffee. It's my last chance, I guess. Hot nights and even hotter coffee. That's what I always say. If I hadn't have been for this case, I never would have visited there. A freezing cold temple in the mountains. I think I passed. We had never visited Hazakura Temple or the Inner Temple, huh? Huh. You want to say something, right? In any case, I have to find a crack in Godu's armor. While I cross-examine Maya, that is. Go on with your testimony. Cheat her up. That's what Pearly said. She said he was a very nice older gentleman. Thank you for looking after my cousin, Mr. Godu. And here I was thinking you were nothing more than a coffee addict. Ah, got it out. You're making me blush. This guy is really beginning to get on my nerves. The truth is, there aren't that many places to look on the Inner Temple side. The policemen were all busy going over the garden with fine-toothed combs. So I decided to carry out an investigation in my own way, Goru style. I'm the same way. I like to hand down verdicts in my own style, judge style. Maybe I should ask some questions, Phoenix style. Maybe we should not making this a laughing matter now. Goru's investigation. You said that you conduct an investigation on your own. Did you find anything? It looks like my investigation went about as well as yours tried. After all, I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern. But I didn't miss it, so speak for yourself, Goggles. The only odd thing I discovered was the beauty in the training hall. Beauty? Misty Faye, naturally. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue. Oh, you foolish beast of a man! I have you now! Western tastes. Could you find a stranger way to describe gravy? Wait a second, what did Goju just say now? I think I just found his pro-verbal weak point. There's only one thing of any importance here. Here was Godu. Where was Godu when the murder that was taken place? He must have already been at the Inner Temple when it happened. Otherwise he couldn't have killed, at least down him. I guess I'm safe now and I show this in this statement because it was the first time. Okay. Mr. Godu, the first time you crossed Dusky Bridge and went into the Inner Temple was long before the murder took place. Why do you say that? Because you just made one fatal slip-up. The hanging scroll in the training hall. Hanging scroll, but... Mr. Godu is right, the scroll shows a picture of my mother. Maya, I know you know who it is, but here's something you didn't know. By the time the bridge had been repaired, 2 days after the murder, the hanging scroll in the training hall looked like this. What's that wonderful, delicious smell? The morning after the crime, someone covered it with gravy. Gravy? But why gravy, Nick? Because gravy was much more than a condiment to the culprit. Well, Mr. Godu, if you really hadn't seen the hanging scroll until after the murder, you wouldn't have had any way of knowing that it was Misty Faye. Now he's going with the freaking like. Wait a minute, Nick. Yes. Take another look at the hanging scroll. Look at the top. There's a crest there. Ah, that. It's the mark of the master, correct? Exactly. So if you know the meaning of the mark, then you could guess that it was a picture of Misty Faye on there. True, but Mr. Godot described that was underneath like this. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by a hue and aroma of Western taste. Oh, yes, it's possible that he knew that what the crest meant. However, he couldn't have known that she was wearing Japanese clothing. Mr. Godot, on the day of the murder, you were hiding at the inner temple long before the crime took place. Uh-oh. Akio, more coffee. This is the last chance I get to enjoy coffee, I guess. Can I ask you just one little thing, Wright? What is it? This whole theory of yours, it all rests on a certain assumption. That I knew beforehand that the crime was going to be committed. That's right. Otherwise, there's no reason for him to sneak up into the same crime scene. Of course, Mr. Godot knew about the plan because he, you know... Huh? What did you say? It's really possible that another person knew about this plan. Okay. I will, you know... I will sum up this one more time. Morgan Fay, this is this lady, she came up with the plan and she wrote this plan before she was going to jail 1 year ago. But she just, so she hid this paper before she go to jail 1 year ago. But she discussed the plan 1 month ago with Dahlia Hawthorne. 1 month ago. But she had these instructions 1 year ago. How could she do this? And on top of this, she found this hidden letter in the Fae mansion? And he read about this? Like, what? Like, what is this? This is not possible. Nothing of this is possible. This crime was actually planned over a year ago. Yes. Over a year ago. Over a year ago, she said, please channel Dahlia Hawthorne's dead spirit. God. Oh. Morgan Fay authorized the plan for her daughter's future. And these instructions were hidden somewhere in Fae Manor for a year. However, by the time little birds found these instructions, they had already been unsealed. Yes, the killer had read those instructions long before Pearls ever found them. Yeah, and this plan was like planned before they speak about the plan. That's how he knew the crime was to take place at the inner temple. And you still insist this crafty killer is me. You bet I do. But you just said that the instructions were hidden. That's right. Mr. Godot couldn't have known where the instructions were hidden. If he really wanted to know, he had one great chance to find out. Yes, and when was it? When was that? During a visit. Morgan Fay told her daughter Pearl about where the instructions were hidden. During one of her visits to the detention center. That would be the only time for someone to have learned where they were hidden. Eavesdropping on the wizard at the detention center. Yes, it could be arranged if you were someone with easy access in and out of there. Like for example, a prosecutor such as Mr. Godot. Okay. I mean, yes, but yo. Order! Mr. Godot, you're under fire again. This murder could not have been carried out without prior knowledge. And you were the only one that could have acquired this information before the murder. Akio, more coffee because this is my last chance to get one. Humans are afraid of the dark, and yet, all the same time, we are fascinated and bewitched by it. Maybe that's why humans drink the darkness that is coffee. Sorry for always asking, but what does that mean? It means there's a reason for everything. According to your theory, the killer in this case eavesdropped on a conversation during a jail visit where he learned of a hidden plan for a crime. After discovering the plans, he hid in the inner temple and waited for the crime to occur. Then he ultimately took a person's life. And he did all of that just to protect this witness. That's right. If you're accusing me of this crime, I have to ask you, why would I do this? This girl is nothing but a stranger to me. Yeah, but no. I've got no reason to go through that kind of trouble to protect her. I am what you see. I am certainly not the type to rescue the damsels in distress. The killer's behavior is certainly extreme, for lack of a better word. And considering that the killer wanted to protect this witness's life, this behavior is still a little too unnatural. However, you had a good reason, didn't you, Mr. Godu? Let's save. An unshakable reason that forced you to protect this witness at all cost. I knew it. You figured it out, haven't you, Nick? Maya, I guess you were doing your best to cover for Godu. For the same reason, huh? Two perfectly good reasons, yeah. Melons! Okay, Wright. I'm all ears, let's hear it. It's very simple. Maya Fey is a lot more than just a stranger to you. What's this? There's one person who lies at the very center of this whole story. One person. Ba-bam bam ba-dam bam. There's a very good reason with Maya Fey's life, why Maya Fey's life is so precious to you. After all, she is Mia Fey's only sister. Mia Fey? You once worked alongside her. That was when you were a defense attorney. Wait a second here, Mr. Godu is a defense attorney. With your honest, piercing intelligence, you must have figured it out by now. The real name of this man who calls himself Godu, his real name is Diego Armando. Isn't that right? Do we get his scene? His theme? No? Yes? No? No. The last time someone called me by the name was over 6 years ago. Diego Armando. The name rings a bell. Shoot, Your Honor. All of this is related to a single case. Yeah, this is basically it, yes. A case in which a convict named Terry Falls killed himself. Mia Fey's first time in court, the tragic outcome left a deep wound in her heart. She knew that behind it all was a heartless, scheming demoness in disguise. But in the end, Mia couldn't cheer off that disguise. However, there was one man who reached out to help her. Diego Armando, a senior defense attorney at the office where Mia worked. My fault. It's all my fault. You can't cry yet! Yeah. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. So I guess we see him cry now? I was moved by her. The way she put all her faith in her clients, that pure sweet heart of hers. That's why I could never forgive Dahlia Hawthorne. Mia and I thoroughly investigated the fake kidnapping incident. Then one fateful day, Dahlia wanted to meet with me. It had been 6 months since the trial. We met in the courthouse cafeteria. I just remembered, 6 years ago, right here in this courtroom, you were poisoned. More coffee. Even I didn't see it coming. I guess you didn't see it coming, huh? Dahlia Hawthorne slipped some poison into my coffee. Some newspapers at their time called it a murder, but very little information about the case was revealed to the press. But you weren't dead at all. No official reports ever actually called it a murder. I was just in a deep, deep coma. I see. My body shut down and my life became nothing but a long, deep sleep. That woman's poison did a real number of my central nervous system. I lost my sight, and all of my hair turned white due to the damage it causes. That's terrible. Yeah, white hair is terrible, dude. Not all of this hair, because his beard is perfectly fine and normal, but you know. Apparently, it was a miracle that I ever regained consciousness. 5 years had passed since I drank that poisoned brew. Then one morning, my eyes flew open from the smell of a doctor's cup of coffee. Okay? 5 years. You were asleep for 5 years, and the worst possible news was waiting for me. Mia Fey was dead. From the very moment I opened my eyes, I had already lost everything I thought I had. The woman I loved had been murdered, and the woman I loathed had been sentenced to death. The woman you loathed. The woman who had spiked my scalding hot coffee, Dahlia Hawthorne. Good. Good old Mia. She didn't let me down. She got her revenge before she checked out. In the end, there wasn't anyone waiting for me when I woke up. So sad. For someone like me, someone who had slept away their best days, there were only 2 reasons left to live. It was for those 2 reasons that I decided to become a prosecutor. If I may ask, what were your 2 reasons? Yeah, you know, like the first reason every prosecutor has, like I guess, like get revenge on Phoenix Wright. The first was you tried. See? Bear in a mask. Good to have you here. Hello. Me? If I hadn't drank that stupid poison, Mia Fey never would have died, much less the way she did. You were the only one who was there to protect her, but you let her die. It was all your fault. It wasn't like that. I wanted to see for myself what kind of a man you really were. So that's why you became a prosecutor. My other reason for living, she goes by the name of Maya Fey. Huh? You mean me? You were the only way I could make up for the sin of not saving Mia. 1 year ago, when the Kurain village incident was resolved, it was obvious that Morgan Fey was planning something. Whatever her evil plan was, I was determined to stop it. My role as a prosecutor put me in the perfect position to do something about her. That's how you overheard Pearl's visit with Morgan at the detention center. I knew that the time was drawing near. Since I knew the plan, I thought I could foil it. My goal was to outwit the plan. I thought if I could do that, I could keep that girl from being caught up in it. That makes sense. If Pearls had known that the actual purpose of the plan was to kill Maya, she never would have helped out. Finally, the day of the plan was drawing near. I contacted both of my accomplices, Iris of Asakura Temple and Misty Fey. I especially needed the help of Iris. She was to take the fall in my backup plan in case we couldn't control Pearl Fey. But how did you contact my mother? She had been missing for almost 20 years. Officially, yes. What do you mean officially? Akio, more coffee. You heard about it, haven't you? About the strong ties between the main family and the government. Now that you mention it, Bikini did say something in that effect. She said that the Master of Kurain had great authority. Even without her official position, Misty Face still wielded great influence. The police have been keeping an eye on her movements all this time. That's how I was able to contact her again because of my position as a prosecutor. So my mother was cooperating with you. Don't ever forget, no matter how far away from you she was, she never stopped thinking about you. As always, that's why I knew she would do anything to protect you. If you want to know how strong her resolve to protect you was, look at her staff. Staff? The one with a sword in it? The day the plan was to be carried out arrived soon enough. We met for the first time at Hazagura Temple. That's when your mother showed me her special staff. I realized it then. Just how far she was willing to go. She was ready to use that sword to protect you from Morgan Fay if necessary. Yeah, even if it meant paying the ultimate price. That night, the night of the crime, there was just one way to stop Morgan's evil plan. You mean Pearls, don't you? We had to make sure she didn't channel Dahlia Hawthorne. Well, Pearl, what are you going to do tonight? If you'd like, you can come to my room. Yeah, they did this. We thought we could prevent her from playing her part in Morgan's plan, but she never showed up. She was worried and followed me into the inner temple. That was the thing we're most afraid of, and that's why Misty Fay had to do the channeling herself. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne into her own body. What do you mean? If she channeled the spirit first, then Pearls would have been able to do it herself. I have a question, but I will wait for this. As Master of Kurain, Misty Fay's power was supreme. Okay, now I talk about it. Hear me out. Hear me out. If you are so clever to know all this, and you know that Pearls escaped you, why are you not, like, tying yourself up or do something about yourself so when you channel the spirit you can't move or you can't get away and you're stuck? Why not doing this? And then let Goju, like, be at her side and watch her. I don't know. Like they come up with this plan, and their plan was what? Show her a children's book? This was the plan? Wow. Woof. Woof. Oh my god. So that's how it went down. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne so that Pearl Fay wouldn't be able to. Yeah. Like, this is cool and all. I can see this, but why not, like, you know, make her not move, or make her, like, not, I don't know, tie her up before that. Like, I don't know, only the legs, so she can not, you know, move. It would be enough. Why doing this? Like, But is this true? My role in this plan was to make sure no one was going to hurt Maya Fey. That's why I hid myself in the inner temple, just in case you needed to be safe from Dahlia Hawthorne. So do. Anyway, that's all I'm going to admit to, Tried. Huh? There's no doubt about it. You're a great defense attorney. But you're going to have to do the rest yourself. Is there more? The background leading up to this incident has been laid bare. There's just one question remaining, Mr. Wright. Who killed the victim? There are only two suspects possible. I mean, yeah, I guess possible right now. Maya Fey. And I'm set to say you, Mr. Godu. Akio coffee. Well tried. If you're the real deal, then finish this thing once and for all. Show us beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can finish this on your own. Only please don't. Aya, I heard the whole thing. From my sister in the medical office. That's why I have to protect Mr. Godu. I can't do it. I can't testify against him. After all, he's the man who put this life on the line to protect Mia, and me too. I know that, Nick. But even so, it doesn't absolve him of this crime. Please, Maya, testify. Miss Faye, your testimony, please. This is the final testimony. Don't bother trying to hide anything, because I know. I want to hear the truth from your own lips. Understand? I'm sure you're right. I'm ready now, Nick. Tell us about the moment before you lost consciousness. What exactly happened at the time of the murder?